Let's see. Okay. Well, we'll hope it works now. Thank you.
You need to be very quiet. Someone
It's not like he cares. Hey, ma'am. Hey, ma'am. You silly girl. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Look, there's a couple of us in here already. I'm having hot chocolate. Hi, how are you? Send the best coupons in life. Ever. Hey, Melody. Good to see everybody. I do apologize if you were in the previous scheduled live. Hey, Tia. I'm doing real well. Something was wrong with my screen. It wouldn't go the right way, so I had to go out of it to come back in to fix it. It seems to be fixed now, but I am doing very well. Thank you so much for asking. Hey, everybody. If you're just joining us, good to see you all. I just thought I'd jump on here and just chit-chat with you all tonight. How's everybody doing? And update everybody. Hey, Nicole. How are you? You know I'm always looking for a deal. But now, let me just say this. So, in my last budgeting video, I had budgeted in $30 for thrifting because that's my thing. That's what I enjoy doing. And we ended up having a meeting. I was invited to, had to go to a meeting. My team was in charge, and we needed to get a few more snacks. And so what I ended up doing was spending my thrift money on snacks. And Gracie is we have a puppy named Gracie. We don't have a Missy at all, and we're not getting one. We are a one-dog family around here. We can't afford 2 dogs. She's enough. She keeps us really busy. So getting back to the deals and the thrifting. So I spent my thrift money on snacks for the meeting, and I have not thrifted. I had a friend ask me yesterday. She said, "Have you found any Goodwill deals yet?" Yesterday, and I really want to stick to my budget. And well, nice of you to watch as well. So I only have my thrift budget is gone for right now, so I don't want to spend any more on any deals. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining me tonight. Alana is not feeling very well, so she just went off to bed, and Jackson is over there reading a book. He's reading, what are you reading, Jackson? Prince, bring it over. Let's show everybody. Bring me your book. She's just having it's been a rough couple of days for Alana. We ended up actually having to go to the doctor last week for her, and so she is going to be going to the allergist for the same testing that Jackson. Hey Anna, how are you? The same test. Let me see your book, bud. The same testing that Jackson had to go for. We're getting seen at the allergist, but tonight she just doesn't feel well in general. But this is what Jackson is reading. Jackson is reading Priscilla Shire's The Prince Warrior series, and I think he has read these books at least 3 or 4 times. There are 3 of them in the series. He might have read them a little more. If you have, and Jackson's 8. So if you have a child, niece or nephew that are into, come over and tell us what it is about a little bit, Jackson. Jackson's going to give us his synopsis of the book. Come on, bud.
Do I have to be in the video?
Yeah, just come and sit and tell everybody what the book is about a little bit.
So,
well, go and change this and then come back. Jackson's going to come back in just a second. He's not decent at the moment. He likes to be, yeah, you can put that one on. That's good. But, hey, Janine, good to see you. If you're looking for a great series for niece, nephew, a child, Grand. Oh yeah. Well, Jackson's my asthma child, but both of them have the allergies, and my older son as well, and none of them can breathe. They just don't know it. Hey Yolanda, how are you? Okay, Jack, slide in and tell us about your book. Well, we can't see you.
What am I supposed to talk about?
To tell us what the book's about.
Well, basically...
Here, come sit here. Sit
Do I
way
have
down.
to?
Yeah, so we can see you. Oh, there you go.
So, basically, the book is about this real world that nobody can see, but those who are chosen to come fight this real enemy, go there, but they're not supposed to tell anybody else because they probably wouldn't be believed, and nobody else can go there, and people say you have to see to believe. And then there's this, I don't know how to pronounce it, person who is the evil lord of Skatos, which is the other part of this realm, which is a bad place, and for water they have jello-like goo.
So do you think that kids would enjoy that book?
They would.
If they like what kind of things?
I don't know. Writing, action, fiction,
Fighting, action, fiction, warriors,
and water.
and water. Okay, thanks. That's good. So it's a Priscilla Shirer book, and yes, he did have to have shots, and he actually, we even had to have a shot, a separate shot for the dog, because we really thought that he was allergic to the dog, but he did not test positive as being allergic to the puppy at all. Just normal things, ragweed, trees, pollen, really nothing. But right now we're doing the allergy shots, because whatever it is, that drainage in the nose, and he is allergic to grass, but he is still a boy, and he's going to go run in the grass, and that's just how it is. So of course we're hoping that the allergy shots are going to be working for him. So I hope you all had a chance. If you have not had a chance to see my latest video on the wedding, please go over and check. I did a vlog. I don't do many vlogs, but I did a vlog on a wedding that I actually got to do the reception food for this past weekend. So if you haven't seen that one, head over there and check it out. So I wanted to kind of just review some things that I went over that I did in October. Croctober was really good, but I wish I had been able to do a meal every day, and I wasn't able to do a meal every day, and it is just really our schedule. Somebody just posted, one of my friends just posted, oh, thank you. Both of them, I don't know what their problem, well, all of them except my oldest child, who is a ham and doesn't mind being anywhere there's photo opportunities, do not like being on camera. And a lot of people ask me where they are quite frequently, but they don't enjoy. Alana definitely does not enjoy being on this side of the camera. She's usually working the back half for me, but and Jackson will every now and then, but it is not their fave. So somebody posted on my timeline on Facebook today. They said, I believe that God gives you 48 hours and he gives the rest of us 24 hours, because I have come home today. I still have on my work clothes. I have not changed clothes just yet. And I raked the yard, and I have a pretty normal size front yard. I have a larger size backyard, but I did the yard. I went to the grocery store. I've done Alana's hair. I've helped with homeschool. and I've moved my bedroom around, and now I cook dinner. And so I've done quite a few things, but that's one of the things about doing Croctober that is kind of a hindsight. It's a lot of work, and Monday nights are my nights to really be at home and not go off from home. Tomorrow night we have something. Wednesday night we have something. Thursday night is ladies group. Friday night I usually try not to do too much, but sometimes things come up on Friday night where the kids and I are actually going on vacation, and we're meeting some family, and we're just going to go and have a couple days before my surgery. My son is coming, and him and Grace are going to hang out. Maybe I can convince him to get her a bath. I'm not real sure. But anyway, that's pretty much I think next time I do a crockpot series, and I do have a crockpot video coming out. It probably will come out within the next day or two. I've got a grocery haul and a crockpot video, and then I have an organizational video that are coming out within the next several days. What I would like to do in the next time I do a crockpot series is maybe do it every other day. I apologize. That is a nervous habit. I am not tired. It is a nervous habit because I'm not used to being in front of the camera. As many videos as I have done. But I'm not used to being in front of the camera. So I do that quite often. But I'm thinking about doing it every other day or taking weekends off or something. It was just a lot. Yeah, I mean, I really do. And I think the reason why I stress so much, and to me it's not stress, it's my norm. But I do know that, well, thank you, I appreciate that, there's so much that has to be done, and there's only me to do it. And I want to get things done. I don't want to ever be accused of slothfulness or laziness. And there are days when I don't do anything, really. There are days when I am chillaxed. Of course, my kids would not agree with that. But I just like to just sit and rest and relax. But there's always something that can be done. When I first purchased this home, it was very different than being in an apartment, because in an apartment, if anything goes wrong, you just call somebody. But when you are a homeowner, you got to buy tools, and you have to get the leaf blower, and you got yards to take care of. And before, I just lived somewhere, and I don't cut grass. That's not what I do. And so I always want to be a good steward over the things that God has given me. Oh, well, thank you. I do try. You know, I think if we could just do our best, that is the exact truth. And trying to become your own landlord, that was the comment. For those that catch the video later, sometimes they can't follow the questions because they can't see the questions. So I'm just trying to be the best of who I am. I was at work earlier, and I was messaging with a friend, well, with a new person, trying to make sure they had grades were due today. So I was trying to make sure that they had everything done, and they thanked me for doing that. And I said, you know, my role or my position is to be a helper to somebody. And I hope that I play that role well and fulfill that role well. And I'm very okay with being just the helper. I don't have to be in charge, or, you know, I can be in charge and have been on several occasions. But if I can help somebody on this thing we call life and in this journey, then that's, you know, I believe that that's the purpose that God has given me, is really to just be a helper. And I think that's motivating people. Hey, Cindy. Oh, yeah, right. So the question is, what made me become a school teacher? Here's my real truth. So this lets you into a little bit of Shakema. So I grew up an only child, my mother's only child, and so I spent a lot of my time by myself. My mom was not always at home with me, so I spent a lot of time by myself, and she would come in and I would have all my little stuffed animals just sitting around, and I would be teaching them. And I don't know, that's just always been my heart, is to be a teacher. I grew up teaching. I grew up doing Sunday school and all kinds of other little things with different ones. I've never had a plan B. This has always been my dream. This has always been what I was going to do. I've been teaching a little over 20 years. 20 years. And this was my first choice. If I had another choice, of course, I would love to be in full-time ministry, but I'd also love to be a house mother for teenagers that are pregnant. Yes, I mean, it's be by yourself or make friends. Hey Sharon, how are you? Thank you so much. If you make it 20, I mean, it's a huge accomplishment for me. In my family, there's not very many of us that have gone off to college and become professionals. I'm one of two. As far as masters, my daughter will be the first master's in our family, and she has plans to go on to her doctorate. So, you know, I'm trying to leave a legacy for my children. My little ones, I have zero clue what they will do with their lives. Jackson is really my ninja, but I don't know that there are any professional ninjas, so I'm not real sure. I always thought he would go into the ministry. Jackson grew up preaching. He was preaching when he could talk. When he learned how to talk, Jackson was preaching. I have videos of Jackson preaching the word of God, and he prays. And so that was my dream and hope for him. I don't know what he dreams and hopes for himself. I expect that they will discover that over the next, several years. Alana, I think, will be an excellent homemaker, just like her mom. I don't mean to say that braggadociously, but I mean, this is what she knows all that I know. She could run this house without me because she has been underneath my wing. And my oldest daughter didn't want to have anything to do with it. She didn't want to dress in pink. She didn't want to have bows in her hair. She just did not. She was anti anything girly when she was little. She's very girly now. So, but she's not the best housekeeper all the time. So, but Alana is my right hand. I apologize. That is really aggravating to me. I can imagine what it looks like to you. But she is really my right hand here. And I feel like it's my responsibility to train my children as best as I can. For as long as they're here with me. So that is what I do. So I had another lady comment. Someone asked me about the book that we're doing. We are doing Be Right, and the author of that is Warren W. Wiersbe. It is a commentary based on the book of Romans. So we're reading the book of Romans in the Bible, but the commentary just kind of gives us a little bit more explanation about what was happening in the time. Who was Paul talking to? How did he get to Rome? And then what is our responsibility as those who are the Gentiles or those who come under the covenant of Jesus? And so, again, the ladies' meeting we will meet this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the number is always in the description box. If you want to join us, we would love to have you. I have often thought about opening up. Hey, Francine, how are you? I've often thought about opening it up to men. I have had one meeting in the whole entire time that we have been meeting that have invited men in. And actually, we didn't have any come in, but I did have a male minister friend of mine lead the lesson for that one time, and it just didn't feel like that was the way God was having us to go. I know that we are a women's ministry, so we have traditionally stuck to it just being women. We don't want to be exclusionary and leave anybody else out, but a lot of the issues and things that we discuss and talk about are based on how we respond and react as women. So that's why it has become a women's ministry, and we like it that way. Any more questions? If you have questions, please feel free to just go ahead, and I'll catch as many of them as I possibly can. I just wanted to come in and chit chat with you all for just a few minutes. Jackson has now stretched out across the bed, so he is asleep. I turned my bed. I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see. We changed the bed. I am not Goodwilling yet because my budget for Goodwill has been spent on something else. So I'm waiting until I get some more Goodwill. I don't want to just be frivolously spending. And Grace is under the bed. So I wanted to change some things around. Sometimes I get a little antsy about my spaces. So I'm going to turn you guys around and let you see. I moved the bed. And this is my sleeping child. And my other fur child is under the bed sleeping. So no, we do not have any discounts at our Goodwill store at all. I do think at the Salvation Army there might be some discounts, but the Goodwills in our area do not have any discount days. They don't have colored tickets. They don't have anything like that. So a lot of times when I'm going in Goodwill and finding deals, it's just really those are the deals that I'm getting for that day. There aren't any additional discounts. Don't ask, and they're not going to offer any. But I do have the privilege of going to a, yeah, I'm very serious because I did ask and the lady looked at me a little strange. But I have you should. There are some hidden gems, and really depending on where you live, the Goodwill that I shop at the majority of the time is in a little bit more of an affluent area, and also it's not in my hometown where we live. We have to go over another town just to shop there, but we're over there for Taekwondo as well. But in the area that we live, the Goodwill here is a little bit more affluent as well. So it does sometimes, and then the one that's a little bit farther out, no ma'am, they do not here in North Carolina, they don't run them the same. There are no sales. And I think that it depends on where you are, because I was in another town in North Carolina and I think they were having a discount, but I know our stores do not. Oh, are you in Philadelphia? I'm in Pennsylvania. So if I always tell people, if you're somewhere near one, you know, stop in. You never know what you're going to find. I find all kinds of things in there. I'm in a group called Frugal Family Life on Facebook, and I've tried to post at least an outfit of the day. I haven't posted any this week because I have not had on any thrifted outfits. It's just been things I've had at the house. But I get my daughter outfits all the time. My oldest daughter, who is in college, because she'll start her student teaching in January, I have probably furnished all of her teaching clothing from Goodwill, because I'm just in there hunting. You know, most of those clothes are smaller sizes, and so I'm just looking for other people. It is very much like me to take a picture of something and send it to 15 people like, who need this? Because I'm getting it for you. And I just do that kind of thing. Occasionally I find things for myself as well, but a lot of times I do shop for my kids or friends or family members. But if you've never been to a Goodwill, I say go. But if you have other thrift stores that you know how to work well, I teach in the high school. But I have also taught in the middle school. Elementary was not my fave. But I have a 4th grader here and in homeschool. So they grow on you after a while. And I do like babies quite a bit. So I've always worked in the nursery of some kind at church or something like that, because I like to hold the babies, but I like to give them back to their parents. So I'm on the upswing of this single parenting journey. if you're a single parent out there, I do want to encourage you, especially if you have younger children. They do grow up and they will eventually move out of the house. So enjoy your time with them now. And I know it can be extremely frustrating sometimes, because some people ask me, well, how do you do it all? Well, I sleep less than they do. I get up earlier than they do. And I do a lot of self-sacrifice. But I believe that it's all going to pay me back in the end. My 2 youngest children are very determined that when I get old and can't take care of myself, they will take care of me. And that's because, hey, how are you? That's because they have a really good life. And that is something that I prayed for. I prayed that the Lord would restore the years that the cankerworm and the palmer worm stole from us. And it's been about 9 good years that when we were going through our separation and divorce, it was just a hard time for us. It was hard. I couldn't figure out life. I didn't know what I was doing. I had these kids. I had these bills. I was down in income. And how am I supposed to make it? 9 years forward, it's so much different for us. I'm not thinking about, hey, Donna, I'm not thinking about the things I don't have, but I'm more thankful for the things that I do have. I have healthy children, even though we have, you know, a little allergy here or there. I have well-rounded children. I have sacrifice, like, meaning what? What am I sacrificing? Because that will help me figure out a verse easier. You know, I was telling my my daughter does budget like I do. Similar. She doesn't write it all down, but she does know the numbers. My older son is not necessarily a budgeter, but hey Tiffany, but he is mindful of his income and what's coming in and coming out. But I spent a lot of time talking with him about what's coming in and coming out and debt free. And I just sent him a YouTube channel today, Dollar Dude, if you've never seen him. Fourth grade. You know, I kind of like the taller ones. I'm into tall. But I love my 4th grader. He's awesome. Jackson actually should be in 3rd grade, but he's in 4th grade, skipped kindergarten. But he's an awesome little guy and very, very, very academic. But my son is not the best at writing it down, but he does well. You know, he has what he has and he knows where his money is. Thank you. I do appreciate that. It was just so tragic to get that word that she had passed away when we were just celebrating such a great occasion. But you knew right then that the party was, I mean, it was done. It was pack up everything, let's go home. And we really got out of there quickly by the time that they were able to leave. Everybody pitched in to help clean, and it was really, it was done. But, you know, we were thankful, and I believe he was thankful as well, that his mom got to see him get married. You know, 54 years old, you never plan on being that old, I don't guess, and not having a family. He doesn't have any children, any natural children. But the lady that he married has 3 children, and they're not grown. I think the oldest is about 12, and they have and there's a little one. I think he's maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. So, and he just, when the moment they started dating or courting, they did not date, they courted, he just fell in love with that little guy, and that little guy just fell in love with him. And, you know, it's like they've already, I think that's what she was waiting on, to really know that he was going to be in good hands, that this woman was capable of, you know, doing what she needed to do to be there for him. He had a previous experience that was not favorable So this was like a do-over for him, and it worked out very well. He's a nice man. He really is a nice older gentleman, and I think they will be happy together. That is my prayer. But it is sad. The arrangements are going to be on Wednesday, so I do believe that almost all of us will probably go and pay our respects to the family, and do that as well. But you know, I'm glad that she got to see him get married, and I'm certainly glad. I think that he is glad as well. For those of you who have not watched my wedding vlog, some friends of mine that asked me to do the food for their reception, they the gentleman is significantly older than no ma'am, not that I'm aware of. They have not asked me to do that, and it may be a little bit different because they may do something different than what we do. I go to a mixed race church, and so you know, not everybody celebrates the same, you know, celebrate their life the same. I think the viewing is, I don't even know if this is the viewing. I just got a text message earlier, so I'm not sure if it's the viewing or the funeral, but it's Wednesday night at 7. They didn't say anything about a further funeral. So as far as I know, no. But I do coordinate the, if our church does something like food, or I will take over the plates and I'll go do all the shopping and take over things to the family. And I've done that for about the last 8 years, I'm sure, maybe longer. But it was sad. It was very sad to have that happen. But I forget what I was saying. I got random. I was talking about the single parents. So again, single moms, we're gonna make it, because now I look at my kids and I'm going, well, dang, they're big. I don't have diaper bags. I don't have strollers. I don't have. Everybody can go to the restroom on their own. My kids can make meals for themselves. I can be eating bonbons with my feet up in the bed if I want to. And my kids, they don't even need me. They're like, Mom, do you want us to fix you some food? Absolutely. Yes, I do. Please and thank you. So when I thought it was gonna be so bad for so long, you know, I didn't think I could make it past my next thought process, or I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. I didn't know that I would ever be happy again. God has been faithful, and for that I'm thankful, that he has been faithful to me and my children. And I look at my kids, they are well-rounded. Yeah. Yep. I most of my friends have little kids because they waited later in life. Sister is she had to go to bed. She still has some of the nasal stuff, but she's much better from that. Today she just has girly problems, and she just don't feel good at all. So she said, Mom, can I go to bed? And honey, if you want to go to bed, go right ahead. So she's just not feeling the best, but hopefully she will be feeling better, because we are going on vacation this weekend. And hey Ellie, good to see you. And I am hoping that she feels much better. I kept asking her, did you take anything? Did you take anything? No, I didn't take anything, Mom. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to encourage you. But we're doing good. We're doing real well. We were talking, the kids and I were talking in the car the other day, and Jackson is the only one of the kids that has never lived with his dad. And but he loves his dad, really. And I was like, I thank God that the Lord gave him, hey Carolyn, the Lord gave him just a loving heart for his father. He's never, I mean, I think in 8 or 9 years, they haven't stayed in the same place more than 10 days together. And he calls, you know, he does call, and they visit and whatever. No, the question is, did the couple give me a budget for the wedding? Yes, they did. I didn't have to pay for anything out of pocket, although I did have several items in my pantry that were just coupon items that I had, like the relish and the mayonnaise and different, dressings and different things like that. So I did not have to purchase those things. I already had them here at the house, and they were well within date and good use. So I just used those things in order to save them a couple of dollars here or there. But yes, they did have a budget, and I stayed within their budget, and I do have receipts and change for them whenever I see them the next time. So I did message with her today and say, hey, I got all your receipts and everything. Not that they care about any of that, but just as a business person, or not as a business person, but as a person of integrity, I want to make sure that I have all of my ducks in a row, and they see that the money they give me. Hellman's, I grew up on Hellman's. Because I'm from New York, so that's what my grandmother used. But here it's Duke's. They do. I don't think I've seen Hellman's down here. I'm gonna have to check it out. But people are Duke's people. I just eat whatever. I don't have a preference. But again, as a way of maintaining integrity, I just kept all the receipts and things like that, so that I could let them know that this is what I spent versus what you gave. So there were about 40 odd people at the wedding. It was small. It wasn't a huge wedding, but it was very nice. So, and the groom was so nervous. Oh, he was so nervous, and he just didn't know what to do with his little self, and he would pace over here and pace back over here. And as she was walking down the aisle, he was singing the song. It was so sweet to see them. And then, of course, having gone to church with him for all those years, and he just always held on hope that God had a person for him and someone that he would share his life with. And God just, he answered that prayer that he had sincerely prayed. And I don't think either one of them would have chosen each other or thought they would have ended up married. But yes, I actually ended up making maybe 60, a little bit more. But we threw away, oh my God, because after that news came, I think if we had been there for a little while longer, people would have come back and grazed, and we were there. We were supposed to be there for another hour or so or whatever, and people would have just come back through the line. We had really literally just gotten through the line when the news came, and the mood was, it was just down. So with having food sitting out and food, safety rules, I didn't want to, send that stuff home with people. And different ones have been, we've been serving ourselves. So with whatever was left, her request, per the bride's request, was to send it with anybody who wanted it. So we had several families that we knew could benefit from, not having to worry about providing a meal for their children that evening. So my sister helped me in the kitchen. We packed, and we always looking out for one another. And I've been that recipient before. I don't know if I've told this story. This is a great story. I'll tell it right now, and I'm not going to stay on here very long because it is getting late and everybody does need to get to bed. But I've been the recipient of, and they really are, my church is a very loving church, of meals. And I remember my daughter Alana was turning 9 years old. I believe she was turning 9 years old, maybe 8. I can't remember now, because she's what? No, that would have been, no, she'd have been younger than that, because I've been doing Dave Ramsey now for about 6 or 7 years. So she had to be 6 or 7. Anyway, she was going to have a birthday. And I remember not having one single thing that I could give her for her birthday. Nothing. I didn't have a cake mix that I could make a cake with. And my ex-husband got transferred here for a job when we moved to this specific town that we live in now. But I ended up in North Carolina because I came down here to live with my grandparents when I was a very little girl. But I didn't have anything for Alana's birthday. I didn't have nothing. I was so broke. And so I remember we were at church. It was a Tuesday, and it was a Tuesday night prayer group. And I was sitting at my pastor's house, and everybody else had gone home. We were just sitting there talking. And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed to say to them, because they had started a food pantry. And I believe now that the two individuals that started it for me and my kids. I didn't know it then, but I do believe it now that they started that food pantry for me and my kids. And I remember waiting till everybody else left, and it was just us there. And I said, you know, Alana's birthday is tomorrow, and I don't have a cake mix for her. Would it be possible for me to get a cake mix out of the pantry? And they were like, Shakema, get anything out of that pantry that you need. And I took a cake mix, and I didn't even have frosting. It was so sad. So I made, and I'm a good cook from what people tell me. I made that cake. That cake was leaning. It was leaning. I was so hurt. And it was from that moment forward that I had asked the Lord to help me feed my children. So to answer Donna's question, she asked me, how did I find my church? My ex-husband and I had moved here. We were looking for a church, and we had actually found two churches. We went to one, and we didn't stay there very long. We ended up staying at another church for about 13 months, and I was actually, I don't want to say on staff, because that's not, they didn't have staff, but I was in the ministry training school that they had within the church. And we ended up leaving that church after 13 months. And I remember being in the hallway of that second church, and I remember the Lord stopping me, and he said, you are going to be further you're going to be advanced trained and further, I can't remember now, but he said advanced trained and something else. I don't remember the second thing he said. It just stopped me in my tracks. I mean, I literally was walking down the hall, and I was like, and I was like, okay. So we ended up leaving that second church, and I was at work one day, and I sat down at my desk, and I just said, God, I am not going to church. So I'm going to need you to show me where to go. And I found this one church, and I thought this was the church. And they says, well, we don't have any crazy hollering out and don't raise your hand. And I was like, well, that is not the church for me, because I will say hallelujah in a minute. So I'm still searching. And I found a blog post. From this guy. He had white spiky hair. He's got a little goatee thing going on over here. And in the picture, it had this lady draped over his shoulder. It was his wife. And it didn't even have the church name or anything. So I saw the blog, and I just said, well, maybe, you know, let me try this name here. And I know that's right. I can't be quiet. I don't know how to be quiet on the Lord. But so I typed in the name, and I ended up getting a phone number. I called, and I just simply said, I'm just interested in knowing if you guys have Wednesday night service. And the little fellow, he's a grown man now, but he was about 18 then. He answered the phone. He said, yeah, we meet at 7. Bye. And he just hung up the phone. And I was like, okay. But I ended up going on a Wednesday night, and then I went on a Sunday morning, and my pastor didn't even preach. There was a guest speaker there, but my heart so connected with the message there. My heart connected with what the church was doing, and that church just took me and my kids in. They gave us respite. You know, you weren't allowed to serve for the first 6 months you were there. I cannot believe what happened in Texas. I don't even understand. I don't understand how. I don't know. I've been at my church for 9 years. I don't know how you could go to your place of worship and are there with the right intentions and there to praise God together, and some people don't make it home. I I don't understand. This is just my personal opinion. I think that there's a systematic, what I want to say, a systematic, like the right to bear arms might be taken away from us. And I think that's your right for being a U.S. citizen, as long as you do it properly and have your proper paperwork and all of that stuff that you're supposed to have. I think that you do have a right to protect your family and your things and all of that. But my heart just breaks to know that they went to fellowship and with one another and such tragedy happened. It just goes to show, this was my thoughts earlier today, is that you never know. You could be anywhere. I mean, just like out in Vegas when that shooting happened. Of course, they weren't at church. They were at a concert or whatever. But still, you could be anywhere. And it could be your time. And I just think, and I think, again, it's all that systematicness, you know. There's so much going against the church right now. There's so many people speaking against the church and church leadership, and this church is doing this, and then we have these tragedies, and people will stay away. But we just have to, those of us who believe, we just have to pray that the Lord will protect us, and that fear doesn't grab a hold of us. Like, you know, okay, I know they streaming it online. And I'm from a small town as well, and so I know that small town mentality. But it's just scary to think that at your church, you know, I went to church this morning. I don't think I have any, there aren't any words. It's just a tragic situation. And my heart goes out to those families. And when I was hearing there on the news that 8 people were from the same family. So I'm thinking it had to be some, you know, small town family church, you know, lots of little families at the same place. 8 people of your family? How do you even recover from that? Such a shame, such a shame. But my church has taken me in, and then when we were getting ready to go through the separation, my pastor, I remember him calling me on the phone, and he said, Shakema, if you want to stay here, because we were going to move back home, he said, if you want to stay here with your kids, we will help you. If you want to go, we will help you. He said, whatever you want to do, we will help you. And by this time, I was pregnant with Jackson. You know, that was our attempt to make the marriage work. And it didn't work, but we got our beautiful boy. Absolutely. Absolutely. We cannot afford to be asleep. Yeah. Oh, the thought that children, and I was wondering, because I try to stay away from reading too much stuff, just because I don't do well. But I wondered if they were children. That's just tragic. You have to, you know. But my prayer, I guess, on this side of it, is that people know the Lord. It's like, you know, we can't afford to wait to know God. We can't afford to wait to get back in fellowship if we have disassociated ourselves with Him. We must be in right fellowship and right standing with the Lord. 18 months old. Oh my word. Oh, that is just, I mean, what did that child do to anybody? Oh no, I didn't see that at all. I have to look it up. after this. But what did an 18-month-old do to anybody? What to deserve that? But we don't know, any of us, when is our time. And so it is very imperative that we know who our Savior is. Very imperative that we know whose we are and to whom we belong. And it's very imperative that we teach our children. I mean, we're talking about 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds and 14-year-olds. My prayer is that those children knew the Lord on their level, and that Jesus was standing there with open arms to take them in. It is our responsibility as parents to really give our children that foundation in the Lord. And so we have to do that. But we can't wait, you know. We got to do it now. We have to be also ready. You never know when things are going to happen. I mean, that's a tragedy in itself. But good night, Yolanda. We're not staying long because it is really time for everybody to get to bed. But, you know, my prayer is that the Lord would send peace. It's got to be through prayer. It's through prayer and coming together, not seeking vengeance. That's exactly right. I think that's the only way you can heal is together. You going through it together. You got to heal together. But you also have to realize that there will be a time of grieving. You know, you have to allow people that space. Those families will hurt for a very, very long time. But you just come together and you rally with one another. And realize that God is still on the throne. He's still in control. Evil exists. And things happen. It wasn't something we planned, but things just happen. And so because of that, we have to stay prayed up. I can't remember who it was that I was listening to or reading, but it was a lady friend of mine. She's a ordained minister, and she sent an email, and she said it's so imperative to memorize the word. To know the Lord and memorize the word. We've got to continually tell ourselves over and over again what the word says. Because if not, we'll be tempted to act in our flesh in retaliation, or we'll be acting in our flesh in the things that we see. The power of life and death are in the tongue. And we have to be careful what we say. We have to be careful who we say it to. Because something we say not meaning to stir trouble could stir trouble if somebody has those itching ears to hear it, you know. Oh, okay, well, that's my cue to go out and do so-and-so. We can't get people back. The Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. As much as we want to get them, God's got to get them. We just have to leave it to his capable hands. And I was teaching the ladies the other week that God doesn't always get them how we do it. You know, because I got some people that I need the Lord to just handle real quick. But he may not do it the way I want it done. So it is up to me to leave it in his capable hands to take care of them how he sees fit. And it could be through me loving on them or forgiving them, and you know, allow the Lord to do what he's gonna do, because he is the Lord and we're not. So our prayers should be for those to really sincerely come together as a community to both grieve and heal together. So thank you so much. I'm going to get off of here. I've got stock cooling and got to get this kid to bed and find the fur dog and just get ourselves. No school for the kids tomorrow, but I do have meetings. So they will have a work day, but I will be working. So anyway, oh yeah. Absolutely. It's praying for everybody. Because the thing that people don't understand, this is the last thing I'm going to say, is that the family of the shooter probably did not have any knowledge of this. And so they don't deserve to be treated harshly for the actions of another. But that's human nature. That's what we do. We can't lash against him. We'll lash against them. Well, it had to be the parents' fault, and it had to be this fault and that fault. But it's not. It's evil exists. That is just it. That is the reason. But anyway, love you guys. You're welcome. Good night, Carolyn. Everybody have a good evening. If you're joining us Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the numbers in the description box. I love you all, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye.